And oh my gosh, it just happens to be full moon in Leo tonight because I'm filming this on the 8th. So I hope this finds you well. And I hope you guys are setting positive intentions for the month ahead. Definitely see where this is hitting you in your natal chart. For me, it's fourth house. So I gotta say, I get a lot of fourth house activity lit up right now on my natal chart, and that's why I didn't put out any content last week because, home and family issues are really just, you know, taking a lot of attention right now for me. And I did actually start filming a series that I planned on releasing for y'all last week, but I just, my kids and my family and all of that just really distracting me. And doing other stuff that has to do with more like a lot of my work I'm doing now locally, face to face. I'm trying to expand upon that, which I'll talk more about a little bit. I don't want to make this too long. Y'all know usually I go live for stuff like this, but I just felt like I'm in a get her done kind of mood right now. Like just knock it out, get it done. And so maybe next month I'll go live. Last time I went live, I was talking to y'all about some astrology, and I will talk about it again here, and then if you stay to the end, I'm going to pull an oracle card. Yes, for my spiritual people who like that stuff, stay to the end. I'll pull an oracle card that will give us collective guidance for the week ahead. And I'm going to pull it from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck from Colette Baron Reed. Beautiful deck. But we'll see, what's in store for us. And for this video, I just want to quickly talk a little bit about the astrology and what's coming up ahead for us. Not only with the full moon, but also just, the week, the month ahead in astrology, and then let you know what I have going on for this channel. And have a little bit of distraction here with Miss Kitty. All right, maybe I'm reception out here, and it's such a shame because I think that it's nice to be outdoors, particularly on a nice, beautiful summer day like today. So, okay, look at your unique natal chart if you are able. Go to astro.com or go to Cafe Astrology. Moon is transiting which house, okay? And for me, like I said, it's fourth house, home, family, sense of belonging. We do also have, along with this new moon in Leo, we've got all Mercury in Leo, we've got the sun in Leo. Happy birthday, Leo. Lot of this month, that Mercury in Leo, I was getting kind of boisterous, and I've had a couple people tell me, like, could you keep your voice down? Like, I don't know why I got fired up, if you've ever been around anybody who was born with that Mercury in Leo, they are like, when they enter the room, they are like, I am here, I have something to say. And so hopefully things are going to tone down a little bit around the 11th, next week, next Wednesday, when Mercury goes into Virgo. Yes, and it becomes a lot more, thoughtful and strategic in Virgo. Good place for for Mercury to be, by the way, is in Virgo, right? That's the currently in right now, and wherever all this Leo energy is hitting your natal chart, it's really being lit up right now. Spirit is putting a spotlight on that in your life, and with the and so to new moon in Leo could be a new beginning. Think about of home, family, sense of belonging. I'm probably going to take some time, time out to really get quiet and pray, meditate, which is talk to spirit, listen to spirit about these issues having to do with home, family, sense of belonging that are really being triggered for me right now, for lack of better wording. And then we're going to have a full moon in Aquarius conjunct Jupiter on the 22nd, so about 2 weeks from now, okay? And for me, that's hitting my opposite house, which would be 10th, right? Opposite of 4th is 10th. So um, think about that axis, right? As you're looking at what's being triggered tonight with a full moon in Leo, you know, if let's see, it's second house, then it will be 8th house on the 22nd, likely, roughly roundabout, okay? If it's first, it would be 7th house. If it's 6th, it would be 12th house. You see, it's these opposite houses, these axes that are being triggered. And so for me, this month, there's a lot of issues of, you know, private versus public life, right? 4th versus 10th house, the home life versus the career life, nurturing versus, you know, the structure and the discipline in life. So, and and as you're thinking about the axes, also think about that new moon versus full moon. New moons that we're having tonight are about new beginnings over the next 30 days, and you know, full moons are about something coming to culmination or completion. So for me, yes, having that in the 10th house is probably going to be something having to do with my career, my life purpose, destiny, structures in my life, and with it conjunct Jupiter, yeah, probably there's something good maybe about this ending. There's, you know, something there. Jupiter is benefic, and so, but also, if it's not so great with Jupiter there, I think it will soften the blow, and yet at the same time, there's this kind of magnification of that issue going on. So I don't know why this is getting dark, but hopefully I'm not losing connection again. Okay, so what else do I want to say? I think that uh, overall, you know, the energy for this month is not as chaotic as previous months where we had eclipse season. And by the way, we will be getting back into that towards the end of the year. So catch your breath while you can. You know, as the month progresses, we are going to be moving away from all this Leo energy and into a lot more Virgo energy. Like I said, Mercury's going into Virgo on the 11th, and then the Sun enters Virgo on the 22nd. And so the full moon is in Aquarius, which is opposite of Leo, you know, on the 22nd. So again, look at these Leo Aquarius dynamics in your life, and look at the axes in your chart that's being triggered by the new and the full moons. Okay, and really, I mean, there are people out there that use the energy to do all kinds of, you know, I don't want to be offensive to anybody here and their beliefs, but you know, like hooey dooey little ceremonies. So I'm not trying to, you know, talk down on anybody, but the thing I think these bugs are really bothering me. um, Use this time, like you don't have to do anything super spiritual, but if you just sit and meditate and pray about the relevance of this in your life, what's being highlighted right now, and what you can constructively do with it, like, right, since I know that this is triggering my 4th house, I'm going to sit, pray, and meditate on those issues to try to use the energy as constructively as possible, because I think that sometimes we fight the energy rather than work with it. And I was even just yesterday sitting and praying, and I felt like God was showing me this bird that was just floating on the wind, like just gliding on the wind. It wasn't even flapping its wings. It was a wind coming in, and it just gliding and flowing with it and letting the wind take it where it wanted to go. Kind of like, on sailboats, they move the sails to go with the wind, not against the wind. And I felt like God was talking to me about this, just relax, ride the currents, right? Ride the currents. And so with the astrology, that's something that we can do. We can look at, what the energy is supporting right now and what it's not. And if you're trying to buck against what is, yeah, we have free will. You can do whatever you want, but perhaps that's not the best route. Perhaps you could be a lot more effective just riding the currents if you could figure out what the currents are. So, all right. I guess that's all I want to say about the astrology. And I want to say, yeah, last week I was going to post a series that I actually already did the audio for. I need to do the video editing on it. And it is, I think it's a 5-part series on cheating. Because I know a lot of people who watch this channel have dealt with that, and it is a big topic. I think because a lot of people, whether they're actually cheating or not, even if they're in a relationship, when things are not going well in the relationship, I think it's normal. Right or wrong, I'm not here to judge it. I'm just saying I think it's quite common that when things start not going well in relationships, they start thinking of back burner relationships. Well, what am I going to do if this doesn't work out? And I feel like a lot of people do that. And is that outright cheating? I don't think so. But yes, for some people it does devolve into that. And so I want to discuss it. For me, particularly as a single woman, I have who are already in relationships or terrible. All right, so I am losing connection out there, so I'm done with out there. All right, let me try to finish up this message, and I'm gonna move inside so that hopefully that doesn't happen again. If I can get situated first. So anyway, hopefully, God willing, next week I am going to start posting on this series on cheating, okay? And I've got a few other things in the works. Last time I went live, I talked all about planning on, talking about this type of stuff. I don't have a release yet to do it. It's weird. Like sometimes I get ahead of myself. I don't have a release to talk about a gut reset diet, which I am still working on, but I just don't feel at peace to release it yet. And I'm also, doing research to put out information about hormone reset diet. And I talked to y'all about that in the last time I went live. But I'm still reading a lot, and I'm probably going to do book reviews, for those of you who are interested in it. But last week was just so busy with my kids, and my middle daughter is moving this month of August. So I'm helping her, get everything prepared for her first new apartment. It's going to be hers. And my youngest daughter, a lot going on with her too, working a lot, and, got to get her over to the dentist. And my dog Ian, he's an old man, he's an elderly guy, and so I've got to get him to the vet. And it's just, people pulling, and, family issues pulling me in different directions. And I'm trying to be sensitive to that. I'm just trying to like be responsive to that, but also talked to y'all before in the last live about me going through a nodal inverse. And for those of you who don't know what that is, basically where the north nodes are, where the north and south nodes are right now, are opposite for me from where they were at the time of birth, right? So the north node at this time is in Gemini, and the south node is in Sagittarius. When I was born, opposite, right? When I was born, the north node was in Sagittarius, south node in Gemini. So everything's kind of flipped on me. Just kind of to think about this to somebody who you can somewhat relate it to, Bill Gates has this. I mean, not a fan of the guy, but I'm just saying, all right, some of you see what's going on with him in the news and maybe get a little bit worried about, like, is this guy going to pull off all his little grand plans and shenanigans? Probably unlikely with him being in a nodal reverse. And that's a hard pill I've had to swallow for myself. Like, I'm glad that's not working out for him, but as far as me, kind of tough. But again, back to my little point about, flowing with the current, gliding on the winds, is like, what's the best way to make use of this energy? You kind of have to accept when you're going through a nodal reverse that or inverse, it's not about you. And, it's your time to help others who maybe it is about, like my middle daughter who is 18. She's going through a nodal return. Everything is totally aligned for her, right? So with the nodes currently in Gemini and North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius, that's how it was at the time of her birth. By the way, that nodal return happens for you, like for everybody at age 18. So I'm just kind of like trying to be really supportive, and it is about her. It's her time to shine, and I'm trying to really be happy for her. I mean, and to a degree I am. I'm her mom. I'm happy for her, but to another degree, I feel with this nodal inverse that I'm kind of a spectator in life, and that I'm kind of on the sidelines, and I see a lot of people getting forward movement, particularly if you've got a nodal return right now. Like, man, and my 16-year-old daughter is coming into that in the next 2 years, and I just know things are going to really line up for her. And so, but if you're going through that nodal inverse, it's like you're watching everybody pass you by, and particularly for me, given the way this is hitting my chart, it's affecting my online business, which I've talked to y'all about. And so I've been responding to that astrology and saying, well, okay, if South Node is in Sagittarius right now, and that's a lot of long distance travel, publishing, reaching audiences, global audiences. If that's in the South Node having to be released right now, which isn't entirely my mission in life, is to get away from that. But for this time, astrologically, this transit we're going through, it's not really working for me to do my North Node, because the astrology is opposing it. Well, then I'm going to try to do the opposite of that, which is third house Gemini stuff, and go local. By the way, I did do some local business last week, and I'm continuing to do that. Oh, I'll talk about that in a moment. Yeah, I've been trying to do readings at a local cafe here, face-to-face, in person, where I live. And I even went to an art walk here, and I'm thinking about setting a booth up locally. And again, this is about Right. You might not have this nodal inverse. The houses I'm talking about might not be relevant to you, but it's an example of how we look at the astrology, and rather than fight it, we work with it. We work with it. Um, by the way, I want to say this, when I went to that art walk, I got this obsidian bracelet, and I want to ask you guys, comment down below if you have any experience with this. I have other bracelets, you know, like I'm very fond of my sodalite bracelet. It's very calming. It's very, you know, but this one here, my gosh, woo! I had some synchronicities. I mean, the psychic activity is really spiked up. I had some crazy dreams. The first night I got it, I slept with it underneath my spine because I've had a back injury. That's another thing going on with me. I had to go to a chiropractor last week, but I slept with it because it's under my tailbone, because it's got a lot of protective, empowering energy that it imparts. So I slept with it underneath my tailbone. It's also good for root chakra, by the way. And so I won't do that again. I had some pretty aggressive dreams. They were positive, but it was a bit much for me. I don't want to have aggressive dreams. I want to have peaceful sleep, you know, and dreams. So this was quite an experience. If any of you have any knowledge or experience of black obsidian, please comment down below. And let me say that, I mean, I think I have been sleeping with it next to my bed. This is a EMF pyramid to protect against the electromagnetic frequencies that are coming off my phone, because I usually sleep with my phone not far from my bed. I try to put it away in the drawer, you know, to block those frequencies, to protect myself a bit. And then I have this as well on the nightstand. And I do believe this black in here is black obsidian. I just don't recall being affected the way that this did. Okay, I mean, this was actually supercharged. I could feel it when I got it. So anyway, let me know if y'all have any experience with that. I'd be interested in hearing. And I wanted to say also, and one more thing before I pull all these cards, and I've already got one that's come out, but I want to talk to y'all about what's going on politically, and I try to put most of that political content on Twitter, as many of you know. I was on Gab for a while, but I've been kind of negligent with that account. I haven't really been active on there. But you can still find me on Twitter at warriorwoman212. And I recently had a friend, ooh, we got a flipper. Recently had a friend who sent a video to me, and I'm going to probably link it in the comments down below so you can watch it yourself. He is an intuitive, and he is talking about, that's a strange synchronicity right there. He is talking about what is coming politically, particularly for people who live in California and New York. And I know that I have some friends and some clients who are in the California, New York area. I do not mean to scare any of you. In fact, I want to warn you against any of that, okay? Any decisions that you're making out of fear, you need to check yourself and ask yourself, if you were not in fear, would you be doing this? Because a lot of people right now are being manipulated by fear. They're being talked into doing things, and all of last year, talked into going along with things that they normally would not go along with, but because of fear, they are acquiescing, okay? And so I do not want to be part of that fear-mongering movement, okay? But I do want to forewarn you, to forearm you, okay? I want people to understand what's coming down the pike so that they can respond in the most constructive, beneficial way possible. That's my intent, okay? In this video, if you take the time to watch it, this guy is an intuitive and he's got a background, you know, in the, I believe the CIA and the FBI or something along those lines, okay, the military. And he's talking about how basically California and New York are done for. They've been infiltrated, they've already been conquered. And he made a very good point that currently, right now, we are in the middle of a war. We are. And a lot of people don't know about it because we've never been in a war like this. It's largely psychological warfare that's occurring, and they can't recognize it. Most people cannot recognize. When you have 1 million people coming through your border without any kind of checks on them, yet the actual citizens are being told to stay in their houses while foreigners are freely invading this country and being shipped in on our tax dollars, shipped all around the United States. And we're being told that we need papers to show right to travel, right to visit public venues, yet foreigners can come in here freely without any kind of paperwork, documentation, ID, money whatsoever. Like, they're freely coming into this country, yet the actual citizens are not able to move about freely in their own homeland. We are in a war, okay? And some people are in denial because it's not convenient for their, how do you say, their idea of reality is this. They don't know what to make of it other than listening to the people on the news, yet this is part of the psychological warfare. And then what's going on with big tech, who is moderating all these voices, being the thought police for everybody, telling you what you can and can't say or believe. Again, more psychological warfare. And by the time some of these folks figure out what's going on, it's going to be too damn late. All right. And so I was contacted by a dear friend of mine last night with this video that I'm going to share with you in the links below, the comments below, rather. And I agree with this guy 100%. And some people are going to say, well, that's fear mongering. I say, no, this is, you're being warned, okay? Spirit is trying to warn you and to protect you and to guide you. And so please watch it and know, if you are in California, New York, you know, it's getting harder and harder to leave. And a lot of the big money has already left. And what remains in those states is high taxes and people who can't avoid them, who can't escape them. And so I really want to encourage you to think about where you're living, because really the only way to fight this warfare that is going on is to get out of these areas and to fight on a state and local level. And we already know which states are going to fight and which are not. We know that California, New York is done for. They're already on the enemy's side. And states like Texas, where I live, and Florida, the battle lines are drawn, okay? And you got a lot of people who are coming over here. And let me tell you, I partly complain because we're now dealing with a housing crisis because all these people migrating over here. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Those people are bringing their businesses, like, look, Tesla, Samsung, Apple, all these, you know, big tech, and even the finance from California is coming into Dallas. All the big money. And you know what's happening? The tax base over here is growing. Businesses are growing. Yes, we have a housing shortage over here because of the influx of economic refugees from these blue states and cities where people are being taxed and regulated to death. But we're growing, we're thriving, we are flourishing. In fact, this little small town that I live in, north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, my daughter and I, we were driving around last night, so much traffic, and she's like, she and I agreed, this town in the last 3 years we've been here has really grown in population, which has never before happened. And she said, I think a lot of these people are coming in from the Dallas-Fort Worth area because the housing has gotten so expensive that they're trying to now come out here for cheaper housing. And we're seeing businesses opening up. We just got a Panera out here, which this town never before had. And they're packed. They're packed. I've been over there twice since their grand opening on the 3rd or 4th of this month. And every time we go over there, they're out of stuff. They've run out. They're that busy. And so, and we see new restaurants opening up and everything, like things are thriving. And so if you're listening to me and you're in a blue area and you're like, well, that's not how it is over here. They're locking us down further, or they're talking about locking us down, or you haven't heard of it yet. Oh, get ready for it. They get a second wave coming. All right. What they say is a second wave. All right. This, you know what, with a D, and it starts with a D, ends with an A. Okay. Well, we got the truth variant around here in Texas and Florida, the truth variant, the 1776 variant. That's what we're dealing with over here. It's freedom time. It's prosperity time, honey. So you're seeing that as the population grows, we're also prospering. And I'm sorry to say, but it's going to be night and day between these battle lines that have been drawn. The, Texas and Florida people who are doing polar opposite of what you see going on in California and New York. And I'm saying, please prayerfully consider, if you are in those areas, get out while you can. Because I'm concerned the longer you stay, the harder it's going to be to get out. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to protect you. I know, almost sounds like what those people were saying last year, okay? But there's facts to back up what I'm saying. Not so for these people. All right. So, yeah, I think I've said everything I want to say. I'm going to draw a card to get some advice over collectively for this next week. And I've already got 3 that have fallen out while I've been sitting here talking to you, and that didn't want to go down. Interesting. All right. So at the foundation, wasp spirit. Sometimes life stings. Sometimes life stings. And the first thing that fell out was vulture spirit. Nothing is wasted. And I'm intuitively getting a hit that I need to tell people, do not waste your resources right now, okay? And I've been saying this all this year, like if you have income tax money, stimulus money, unemployment, food stamp money, whatever, wherever your resources are, do not be wasteful. If you've got empty rooms that you can house share and cash flow those rooms, do it. Do not be wasteful. Like it, stockpile if you can. Get crypto if you've got spare disposable income. Crypto, silver. Okay, do that. But this is about not wasting a thing. Not letting anything go to waste. By the way, even learning to cook in a way that is like avoiding waste. Like I learned this year, did you know you could buy 1 bunch of green onions and you can keep them growing indefinitely? I've had green onions, an unending amount of green onions this year based on 1 bunch that I bought at the grocery store. And I just cut it down to almost the white part and I replanted it, and it just keeps regrowing, 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 regrowing. How much waste that we have because we throw our seed away. We throw away things that are perfectly good, and out of ignorance, we don't even know. You don't have to keep buying that. You can save a lot of money, okay? I could go on, but let's get to the next card. Bat Spirit, a rebirth is assured. But that is a number 5. And so I'm really getting intuitively that this is out of the struggle that people are going through. There's a new beginning, right? I've been telling you in this video, I've been going through a struggle with my nodal inverse. Things are not going my way. They're not. So I'm learning how to work with it. And by working with it, I'm getting a new beginning. Okay, and the next card is Turtle Spirit. A slow and steady wins the race, and that's a 6-2, which adds to an 8, and 8 is transformation. So I see change, okay, but I really feel, and I'm getting a lot of turmoil as well with that 8. And it can be intense change and transformation, but this is what's going to get you through. Not making erratic moves, but really sure-footed moves. And that story of the tortoise and the hare is coming back to me. So I'm really getting to tell people, like, don't try to be the hare. Don't try to make it to the finish line first. Just try to get to the finish line and try to do it in a manner in which assures you get to the finish line. All right, and then we've got Elephant Spirit, learn from the past. I feel like 2020 is coming to my mind that you know, I'm just saying on a collective level, 2020 is coming to mind. We don't need 2021 or 2022 to be a repeat of 2020. Hold on one second. I am being led to do something. The rebirth is going to be from what has happened, okay? The rebirth is from, and now I'm hearing a renaissance, okay? An awakening, an awareness, an enlightenment is occurring after all this conflict. I've told you we are in a war and the battle lines have been drawn. And a lot of people do not recognize it as such because we've never been in a war like this before. This is psychological. This is a psychological war that we are now in. But nevertheless, there's a conflict here, right? 5 is conflict. But from this struggle, we get a new rebirth. And the rebirth is that people are going to be like, you know, they're going to look back at 2020 and be like, oh, we're not going to let that happen again. Because I'm hearing naive, okay, that some people are going to be like, wow, that was so naive. But I think that progress from this point forward, by divine guidance, I'm hearing divine guidance, and that's why it's slow. And I'm hearing day by day, okay? But then it goes back to this. What's going to bring transformation? I don't know why also I'm hearing Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Rahm Emanuel, they were all fond of saying never waste a good crisis. And so I want you to think about, right? I really initially took this card as we apply it to ourselves, but you have to, now I'm getting that you have to understand there are people out there who have this kind of vulture spirit on them, and you need to be aware of it, that they're sometimes, yes, Hegelian dialectic, look it up, they create a crisis, They create a problem to formulate a reaction so that they can come in and propose a resolution, right? Like, let's cook up some lab virus. Then we propose the solution. Oh, let's make you, have public incarceration, and let's make you show your papers like it's Nazi Germany if you want to travel or get into public venues. And then the outcome is what? You're seeing the Amazons, the Jeff Bezos, you're seeing big businesses, you're seeing big pharma profiting like never before. You're seeing the whole monetary system changing, where, all of a sudden you've got the Black Rocks coming in, buying up real estate like never before, turning us into a renter nation. Problem, solution, outcome. Hegelian dialectic. People who are not wasting a good crisis. A crisis that perhaps has been fabricated for this very purpose, to get you to go along with things that you would not ordinarily go along with had there not been a fear-inducing problem, crisis, to create this opportunity for vultures to sweep in and take advantage of the carnage, the fallout. Okay. Well, I mean, I've said a lot here. Some of you probably were looking for a positive, sunny side up message, but at the foundation, this is about how sometimes life stings. By the way, this card was coming up for me a lot when I was going through Saturn in my 8th house. This card would come up a lot for me during that time. And that's some deep, dark shit like this. Okay. All right. But I feel like those of you who know me and watch me, you understand I'm not a sugarcoater. I'm not. If Spirit wants to talk about this, then I'm going to talk about it. And that was the message for this week. Be aware of the vultures in your life, who are seizing opportunities to get away with things that they normally could not get away with, and be resourceful on your part. Don't be wasteful. I hope I've said something here that has blessed you. And if you liked these, I don't know, maybe I could do them on once a week. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, so many ideas, but I'm lacking the confidence because this is this nodal inverse stuff that I'm dealing with. That's why I'm going local. I'm doing a lot of local work now. But anyway, I hope you will join me. God willing, next week I will get that series out. And like I said, working on more to come. And until next time, wishing you guys all the best. Thanks for joining. Be blessed.